The 747's a massive step up from John's usual plane. This cockpit carries as many people as his Learjet.
I have every confidence in you.
That's good.
I'm not nervous at all.
Sure?
Yeah.
Because I am.
Well, here we go. This is John's first landing in a 747. He's doing a really great job.
500.
Bring the nose up. That's it. That's looking good. A little bit more power.
400.
A tiny bit slow.
300.
This is the toughest bit for John. The cockpit is so high up and the landing gear so far back, it would be easy to think you've still got 100 feet to go when you suddenly bury the wheels into the runway.
Start bringing the nose up
50.
now.
40.
Shut the throttles. Just hold the nose up
20.
there. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose
10.
up. That's it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he did rather well.
After the briefest of stays on terra firma, John takes the plane back up for the next pilot.
Rotate. Very nice.
I think I owe John a beer for that. John, that was absolutely cracking. How was that?
Probably the best thing I've done in my whole life.
This one, you know, it seems to be pretty maneuverable the way you're chucking it around on, you know, the base.
Yeah. It actually handles like a, almost like a small Cessna, but,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Very good.
Even though John's never flown a plane of this size, he pulled off a perfect landing. Boeing really did prove the skeptics wrong.
The Jumbo holds the world record for the most number of people ever carried. 1,200 people on an individual flight from Addis Ababa to Tel Aviv. The Jumbo is so big that when it's pressurized, it carries 1 ton of air inside it. You could fit the distance of the Wright brothers' first flight inside the economy section of a Boeing 747. And it's so wide, you could fit 3 Concorde fuselages inside this fuselage.
The Jumbo entered service 5 years before Concorde. By the time Europe's supersonic dream had finished testing and was ready for passengers, the world had changed. A massive increase in oil prices meant the only profitable way to run an airline was by getting bums on seats, which gave the Jumbo a huge advantage.
Well, on a Concorde, all the passengers would fit just in that bit. But on the 747, it just goes on and on and on, and that's without the upstairs.
Having initially thought they couldn't afford not to buy Concorde, in 1973, orders for more than 50 aircraft from 16 airlines were cancelled. The plane, conceived by politicians, would fly only for the state airlines of the governments that built it, Britain and France. Gone too was the notion of mass passenger transit. Tickets would sell at first-class prices, plus another 20% on top. Concorde became the exclusive plaything of the rich and the famous. For 34 years, Concorde was faster than any other passenger plane in the sky. But in 2003, economics finally overtook it.
And these fuel gauges tell a story. 30 tons per hour at takeoff thrust. That's 35,000 litres per engine, and there's 4 of them.
Concorde was 5 times less fuel efficient than the Jumbo. It could only make money when it was full of celebrities paying £6,000 for a return ticket. After the Paris crash and 9/11, passenger numbers dwindled. Concorde became a strain on its cash-strapped airlines, and they wheeled the planes off to museums. By contrast, the 747 has carried over 3.5 billion passengers. That's more than half the population of the world. But you know what? Ask any one of them which plane they'd rather fly, and I bet, like me, they'd say Concorde. I do love this aeroplane, but I have an apology to make to her, because I flew in a Concorde in the mid-80s when hair was big and sense was in short supply. And I so looked forward to it, but I was so drunk when I got on it that I fell asleep and missed the entire experience. I made up for it because I did subsequently come and fly again in the Concorde, and I looked out of the window and I saw the curvature of the Earth, and I flew at Mach 2, and it was an unforgettable experience. Once they'd proved that big was beautiful, oh, no control whatsoever over the airplane. The next frontier of flight was efficiency and control. This is the daftest thing I've done in an airplane for years. Fall back stick. Blimey.